My mother-in-law walked into the sauna and didn't leave. Like and subscribe if you're ready for the most unexpected twist you've ever heard. It started as a normal Saturday. I was chopping wood out back when my wife shouted from the porch, "Don't forget, Mom's coming over later." I groaned inside. Don't get me wrong, my mother-in-law, Teresa, was a kind woman, but ever since she moved to our town after her divorce, she'd been watching me. I'd catch her eyes lingering too long. She'd compliment my cooking, my arms, even my laugh. I told myself I was imagining it until that night in the sauna. I built the little log sauna with my own hands last winter, and it became my evening ritual. I'd go in alone, just a towel, close the door, pour water on the stones and sweat out the day. That night, I was halfway through when I heard the creak. The door opened. I thought it was my wife, but it was Teresa. Wrapped in a towel, red lipstick on, hair tied up. She didn't flinch. "It's cold in the house," she said calmly. "Mind if I warm up?" My throat went dry. I didn't say a word. She sat beside me, close. Too close. The heat wasn't just from the steam anymore. She leaned over, whispered, "You always look so tense in here. Let me help you relax." And before I could react, she pressed her palm to my chest. I stood up so fast I nearly slipped. "We can't," I muttered. "This is wrong." She looked up at me, calm as ever. "Then why are you shaking? That night didn't end like you'd think." I ran out, straight into the cold night air, towel barely hanging on, heart pounding like I'd seen a ghost. But the worst part? My wife was standing there. She had seen Teresa go in. She had seen me come out. And she just said one thing, deadly calm. "So it's finally happening, huh?" I froze. My feet were numb from the snow, but that wasn't why I couldn't move. "What do you mean, finally?" I asked, barely able to speak. My wife crossed her arms, her face unreadable. "I've seen how she looks at you. I've seen how you've been avoiding her eyes at dinner, how you leave the room when she enters. I just didn't think she'd be this bold." I stammered, "Nothing happened. I swear, but she cut me off. I don't care what happened tonight. I care about what you're going to do now." Behind me, the sauna door creaked open again. Teresa stepped out slowly, steam rising behind her like smoke after a fire. She didn't look ashamed. She didn't even look surprised to see us. She just smiled, like this was all some twisted plan. "Well," she said softly, "I guess the secret's out." I looked at my wife, then back at Teresa. I felt like a prisoner caught between two walls closing in. My wife's voice broke the silence again. "I need you to choose," she said coldly. "Right now. Her or me?" I blinked. "What kind of choice is that?" "She's your mother." But my wife didn't flinch. "Exactly. And she's always ruined everything in my life. I just never thought she'd go this far." Teresa chuckled from behind me. "Oh, darling, don't be so dramatic. Maybe if you treated your husband a little better, he wouldn't be so curious." That was it. My wife lunged. I had to grab her arms to keep her from slapping Teresa across the face. "Go inside," I told her. "Please." She didn't move. She just stared at me with tears building in her eyes. "If you don't fix this, we're done." That night, I didn't sleep. Teresa left before sunrise. My wife didn't say a word to me the whole next day. But the worst part? That evening, I found a note slipped under our bedroom door. It was in Teresa's handwriting. One sentence. "You'll be back in the sauna, and next time, you won't run." I burned the note. Threw it right into the fireplace and watched the flames swallow her words, but they didn't leave my head. "Next time, you won't run." That sentence echoed in my mind all night. My wife still wasn't speaking to me. She slept facing the wall, arms crossed, back tense like a loaded spring. I wanted to fix everything, but how do you fix something that deep? 3 days passed. No messages. No visits. Just silence. Then on the 4th day, I got a text. From an unknown number. Just a location pin. And a photo. It was the sauna, lit by candlelight. And on the wooden bench, her towel. Alone. Folded. Like an invitation. I showed my wife. I needed her to see I wasn't hiding anything. She stared at the phone, then at me. She wants to destroy us, she said quietly. And you're still playing her game. I shook my head. I'm not going. But I saw it in her eyes, she didn't believe me. That night, the power went out. Storm rolled in from the valley. Heavy snow, black sky, full blackout. I was grabbing candles from the cabinet when I heard a knock at the back door. Slow. Measured. I opened it, and there she was. Teresa. Soaked. Smiling. Thought I'd warm up, she whispered. You left the sauna unlocked. I closed the door behind me fast, heart racing. What are you doing? I hissed. You can't just show up here. She stepped closer, water dripping down her coat. Why not? You didn't say no in the sauna. You ran. That's not the same thing. And then my wife appeared behind me. You have 5 seconds to leave, she said. Voice like steel. Or I'll make this real messy. Teresa's smile didn't fade. She looked me dead in the eyes. Tell her the truth. Tell her what you felt that night. I looked between them. The woman I married. And the woman I could never trust. And then, I finally spoke. I felt disgusted. I felt trapped. And I want you gone, for good. You'd think that would end it. But Teresa didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just leaned in and said something that nearly made me collapse. You might want to ask your wife about the real reason I got divorced. My wife's face turned pale instantly. Her lips tightened, her eyes darted to me just for a second, then back to Teresa. Don't you dare, she said through clenched teeth. But Teresa just smirked, dripping rainwater onto our wooden floor like she owned the place. Oh, honey, she said sweetly, he deserves to know. After all, he married you. I stepped back, looking between them. What is she talking about? I asked. What's the real reason your parents split? Silence. Just the ticking of the storm outside and the pounding of my heart. My wife looked like a statue, frozen, unreadable. But Teresa wasn't done. You see, she said, walking slowly toward the kitchen, your sweet little wife had a boyfriend when she was 18. A married boyfriend. My husband. I blinked. Wait, what? Oh, she'll say it was emotional. She'll say she didn't know. But I found the texts. The little drawings. The necklace she gave him. Teresa chuckled. And the worst part? He wanted to leave me for her. His own daughter's age. I turned to my wife. Is this true? Tears welled up in her eyes, but she didn't speak. Just nodded. Slowly. I didn't know, she whispered. Not at first. When I found out, I ended it. I swear to you. But Teresa wasn't done. And that's why I came back. Not to seduce you. Not at first. I wanted her to feel what I felt. I wanted to see her squirm, to wonder if I would ruin her marriage next. I stepped back again, hands on my head, trying to breathe. So all of this, the sauna, the texts, it was just revenge? Teresa smiled. At first. But then I saw how you looked at me. And honestly, I liked it. My wife broke. Get out, she screamed. Get out of my house. Teresa backed toward the door slowly, still smiling. You won't keep him. You know that, right? She said quietly. He'll always wonder. Then she was gone. The door slammed. The silence returned. But nothing would ever be the same. And that night, I sat alone in the sauna. With only one thing in my mind. What if she was right? I sat in the sauna, the dim orange glow of the coals casting flickering shadows across the wooden walls, my heart pounding like it could still hear her words, he'll always wonder, and the more I thought about it, the more the anger built up inside me, not at her, but at myself, for letting it all spiral this far. The door creaked and I flinched, but it was her, my wife, wrapped in a blanket, no makeup, her eyes hollow. She sat across from me without a word, the heat surrounding us but doing nothing to ease the cold tension between us. I didn't know he was married back then, she said quietly. I nodded slowly but didn't respond. Do you believe me? She asked after a pause. I looked into her eyes and finally said, yes, but that doesn't change the fact that you kept it from me. She winced like I had slapped her. I thought if I buried it, it would disappear, I sighed, rubbing my temples. Well, now it's surfaced. In the worst way possible. She opened her eyes and leaned forward. Are you going to leave me for her? I looked at her sharply. Seriously? After everything? She nodded silently. I answered, no. I don't want her, but you need to understand everything's changed. We sat there, the silence pressing down heavier than the steam, until suddenly her phone buzzed on the bench. She glanced at the screen and went pale. What is it? I asked. She hesitated, then handed it to me. It was a video message from an unknown number. The caption read, if you don't tell him everything, I will. I tapped play, and my stomach dropped. It was old footage, grainy but clear enough, shot from a hidden camera, showing my wife in a car, kissing a man, a wedding ring gleaming on his hand. I asked, is that also your ex? She buried her face in her hands and whispered, that was after we got married. My ears rang. I couldn't think, couldn't feel, just sat there frozen. But deep down I knew this was only the beginning. Teresa wasn't done. She wanted to destroy everything, and she just pulled the next card. I stared at the phone in my hand, the screen dimming but the image still burned into my mind. My wife, after our wedding, kissing another man like I never even existed. I felt the walls of the sauna closing in, the heat suffocating, the air too thick to breathe. Who was he? I asked, voice hoarse, barely holding myself together. She didn't answer right away. Then finally, someone from work. It was stupid, it was short, it didn't mean anything. I laughed bitterly. Didn't mean anything? He had a ring, you had a ring, you had a husband. She reached for my hand but I pulled away. I was scared. She whispered, you were working all the time. We barely spoke, and he listened. I stood up, pacing in the cramped room, my towel soaked with sweat and rage. So instead of talking to me, you cheated on me? And your mother knew. She nodded slowly, shame all over her face. She found out after the divorce. She held it over me ever since, said if I didn't keep quiet about her and your father, she'd tell you everything about me. I froze. Wait, what about my father? Her eyes widened, like she had just realized what she said. No, I said, stepping closer. What does my father have to do with this? She backed up a little, voice shaking. Teresa said she was with him too, before you and I even met, but I didn't believe her. I blinked, trying to understand. So you're telling me my wife slept with a married man, and my mother-in-law slept with my father? That's when my phone buzzed. Not hers. Mine. A new video. Same unknown number. I tapped play. It was dark, shaky, someone filming from behind a curtain. A man in a chair, shirtless. Another figure walked into the frame. Blonde hair. Slender. Wrapped in a towel. My father. My mother-in-law. The video ended. No sound. Just that image. That proof. That twisted truth. I dropped the phone. This is insane, I muttered. This is sick. My wife covered her mouth, tears streaming. And then the final message came. Just 5 words. You married into yourself, sweetheart. I stormed back into the house, soaked and shaking, and there she was, my wife, still wrapped in that damn blanket, mascara smeared, phone in hand, staring at the DNA results like they were a death sentence. I didn't say a word. I just walked up, grabbed the papers from her, tore them in half, and threw them into the fireplace. She gasped, "What are you doing?" I looked her straight in the eyes, heart pounding. I don't care if she's lying or telling the truth. I don't care what twisted games she's playing. I know what I feel. And I know one thing for damn sure, I'm not losing you over that psycho. She blinked, stunned. You still want me? I stepped closer, wrapped my arm around her waist, pulled her in tight. I don't just want you. I need you. And then she dropped the blanket. No words. No second guessing. Just raw, reckless, skin-on-skin chaos, right there in front of the fire. The storm outside howled, the flames behind us roared, but all I could focus on was her. Every inch, every breath, every gasp that escaped her lips. All the lies. All the threats. All the madness her mother tried to throw at us, gone. Burned away in that heat. Later, breathless and tangled up in each other on the floor, she whispered, "So what now?" I grinned, "Now? We move. We disappear. We start fresh. No more videos. No more secrets. Just us." And that's exactly what we did. They say the past always comes back, but not when you set it on fire. The end.